Try it again.
What do you want me to talk about, Bobby?
You're
Should I talk
talking-
about how handsome I am?
Well, that, if you want to lie to yourself and to the people, then you go right ahead. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Season 3, Episode 14 of the Nintendo Playstation Podcast. I am Bobby, the Nintendo Guru, joined by the greatest quaff in all the land, Mr. Toby Thornton. What's up, Toby?
What's up, pizza boy?
You know what? Don't start your nonsense, man. We're not going to play this game tonight, all right? Today, whatever it is. I realized today, so you messaged me and you're like, hey, I want to start at 1 o'clock today.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I was like, I'm laying in bed as I read it. And I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. And I'm laying there. And it's like 6 o'clock. And I didn't turn the alarm back. Like, I didn't hit snooze or nothing. And I'm laying there and I'm sleeping. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, is it 8 o'clock for me or 9 o'clock for me? Like, did he have daylight savings yet? Because it changed, remember? Like, a few years ago, George Bush changed it, and the timing is, like, off now. We used to have daylight savings, like, the same time. We don't
out of whack now,
we don't anymore. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. So, anyway, how you doing, Toby?
I'm feeling a little bit off today. Like, sort of like, like your top of your nose, like the bridge where your eyes are. I've got like a bit of an ache there. I don't know why.
If I had the thing growing out of my head, which is your hair, I would be the same way.
You think it's like burrowing through my brain?
It's
like,
damaging your head. That's the problem.
Quite possibly.
You cut your hair and you look so handsome. And then, like, as the weeks progress, you just get worse and worse and worse.
It's getting a little bit longer now. It does need another trim up.
Yeah, a lot. Why don't you go Benji Kong style?
Or just buzz it all off.
Yeah, just buzz it all off.
And then hide it under a hat. Like, why does he do that?
Because I've seen him without the hat a few times.
Yeah, me too, but...
And you know something? This is what I want to say, because I know he's listening right now. Like, we got to do something together, right? Eventually. Like, I don't understand. I want to get Danny on as well. Like, I think... Okay, this is what it is. I think they're afraid to come on, because you have this reputation of being very disgruntled when we mention guests.
I may be a disgruntled man at times, but I will make an exception for my fellow English brethren.
Okay. So if they're willing to come on, you will be a softer, kinder, gentler...
I'm not going to be any softer. I'm not going to go easy.
I do like the fact, this is the funny thing, I like the fact that you got this stigma of being a badass. I'm kind of like the weak-willed one in all this, which it's totally opposite. Like, when you talk, like, I'm the one that's, like, ready to rip people apart at the drop of a hat. And you're just like, whatever. You don't get involved in nothing going on. Like, someone bashes us or talks trash about me, and I'm going after them. Although there was one time, if you remember back, I think I was the Geek Guru at that point.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
You remember this? So we had a Facebook group, and someone hijacked, they didn't hijack anything. They basically made up lies that I was saying things that I was going to do when it came to Amiibo. So what it was Rob the Robot was coming out in Japan, and it was going to be a Japan exclusive. And this guy told a friend of his I think he lived in Washington State or whatever, but he was part of the community. We had a Facebook community, and he was going around and telling different people that, like, he was working with me, and that we were going to pull money together to buy Rob the Robot. Like, we were going to try to go in and say, like, hey, man, give us a better price if we have, like, we want to buy 10. And he was getting people to give him money, essentially. And you and I found out about it, and you got pissed. And you, like, messaged the guy and, like, really started giving them some guff, as we like to say in the mean streets of New Jersey. But it was I was like, wow, Toby got a little unleashed. Like, he showed me the message he sent him, and I'm like, holy cow, dude, this guy's.
Well, that's the thing, right? Is that my personality is I'm either down at like 10% chill, or I'm at 90, 100%. There's like no in between, right? Like, I get serious road rage in an instant. Like, if somebody cuts me up or somebody's driving like an idiot, I am immediately giving them the finger. I'm bibbing at them. Like, I am that sort of person. Mm-hmm. And it's the same online. Like, if somebody rubs me the wrong way online, I will immediately go full crazy on them. And I try not to do that because obviously you don't know what people's tone is. Like, you can only read what they're reading. You know, there's been a few times on Twitter where I've gone a bit crazy at some people, and they deserve it. They really do. But then I think, this doesn't make me look good either. You know.
No.
So I try and stay as chill as possible most of the time.
I want to tell a story about time I got you very unchill. And we were playing GTA. Yeah. And you and Drummy made these weird race maps, and you made this map. I think it was you that made it, where we were racing tractor trailers, but you couldn't go that fast. They were very slow.
Yeah.
And the ledges, if you fell off, you fell off. Mm-hmm. And I just kept falling off, and I was getting annoyed. So I decided to go backwards, and I targeted you. And
you did.
You were like, in the middle of it, you're just like, you know what, Bobby? F off. You're not playing with us no more. You're not allowed to play with us. And I haven't played with you since. That's the thing. I thought you were joking, but apparently it was real. Like, you were just like, I haven't been able to play with you guys since. Like, you cut me off. And
deservedly so.
Not deservedly so. I think
you pushed my buttons one too many times.
I think you're not the ruler. And I'm going to make a plea because I know Michael Drummy watches this, and I'm asking you, Michael, please invite me to come play again. Like, this is nonsense.
Look, we don't play baby games, right? So you better get with the program.
Wow, what baby games do I play?
Like Fortnite. You want to like ditch the cartoony baby games.
Are you playing Battlefield?
Yeah, we're playing Battlefield.
How do you like it?
Well, we'll get to that.
Okay,
right?
Then I'll stop. I'll stop asking questions. Toby, let's kick this episode off like we do each and every episode with our Geek Outs.
Geek Outs.
You're such an ass.
You thought I was going to go mental, didn't you?
I cannot stand you. Toby, what are you geeking out about?
I am geeking out about Battlefield 5 Firestorm. We got there in the end.
What's your thoughts?
So we've been playing it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've only played it 2 nights. But both nights I played it, we got a win. It's very, very different style of battle royale. So I haven't played Battlefield 5 campaign or any other multiplayer modes. I've only played Firestorm, but it is incredible, Bobby.
So my question for you is: did you get caught up in the Firestorm?
I have not actually gone in the Firestorm.
So you're like scared. You're like running.
I don't want to be anywhere near that thing. It's scary enough when you're just standing next to it, and like you think, oh, it's just a wall, right, that goes through stuff. But because it's made of fire, it destroys everything in its path.
Oh, so like, it's burning stuff down.
If it goes through a building, that building starts to collapse as it's going through it.
Oh man.
And there was one match where I was right at the very end on my own. I was upstairs in this building hiding. There was people outside. They knew where I was. They were shooting me. I was hunkering down in this building. The firestorm starts to come in. The building is falling to bits behind me. I'm sort of trapped between this wall and the firestorm, and it's getting smaller and smaller. It was terrifying.
So you're like, just shoot me. You jump out the window, just shoot me.
I literally jumped out the window and like just ran away from it. Yeah.
That sounds pretty awesome, though. I'll be honest with you.
I
have to give it a shot.
It's so much fun because it's just so much different to the other battle royale games.
And you're playing on PS4?
No, we're playing on Xbox One.
Really?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm playing it there because we've all got space on our Xboxes because we don't buy a lot of Xbox games.
Yeah.
And I don't know, we're enjoying multiplayer on Xbox at the moment.
So is it 4 people?
It is four-man squads, okay. Yes.
Because I'm debating. This is part of my Geek Out.
Yeah.
I have a twofold Geek Out. But the first part is GameStop is having a massive sale today.
Yeah.
And they're offering a $250 credit on Xboxes and PlayStation trade-ins.
All right.
So I was considering trading in my Xbox and upgrading to an X. And also, I've been considering trading in my PS4 and upgrading to a Pro. But part of me thinks, like, no on the Pro, just like wait, just hold out for the 5.
Yeah, I'd say the difference is way bigger on the X to the Xbox. So yeah. I think that would probably be better for you.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that today. Matter of fact, when we get done recording, I'm going to go do it. So
awesome. Yeah.
So the other thing I'm kind of geeking out about is Labo VR. So I when they announced the Mario and the Zelda thing, I went and pre-ordered it, and so I'll have it next week. Don't roll your eyes like that, Toby. Stop it. I just want to try it. You know what I mean? Like when they announced it, and I actually watched the Labo video, I just thought to myself, I just want to try it. I'm gonna because my thought was I want to get it, put it together, and then put it on the shelf behind me. And I was like, it'd be kind of cool to have this piece.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I can see that.
Especially with like my goal this year. That's my goal for 2019 is to acquire a Virtual Boy. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to have those two next to each other on the shelf behind me.
Yeah.
But when they announced...
Explain to me, right?
Go ahead.
Just quickly. This Labo VR, you've got the goggle thing that you have your Switch in.
Yeah.
You have to have the Joy-Cons in the Switch at the same time, right? So the only way to play it is to hold the Switch up to your face.
Yeah.
How is that fun?
Well, I think that what'll happen is, I think you'll get people that will come up with a strap to strap it on your face, because there are.
But even still having your arms up, you're gonna get pins and needles in your arms.
You don't have to have it up. I don't believe. I don't know. The idea is that's why they say that it's a younger audience could play it. Like on PSVR, you have to be 13 years or older, I believe, to play. With this, it's only 6. And I think the reason why they're saying it is because you're not holding it up to your face for longer periods of time.
Yeah.
You're only keeping it up for, maybe, 10, 30, 40 seconds, and then you're done. I don't know what... I mean, honestly, I just don't know what this is. And that's what has me interested. I want to see. Like, are our thoughts wrong? Are they right?
I think that it's a missed opportunity that Zelda isn't first-person VR. Because I don't really see the point in being able to move the camera around like in VR in third person.
Well, maybe you are the camera. I think essentially you are the camera.
Yeah, but I don't see the appeal of that.
And I'm with you 100%. I think that, was it a missed opportunity? Of course it was. But I think that this was just Nintendo going like, let's try to hype up more people just to see if they like it. Let's see what this thing does. And does it warrant us to dive in? Because my feeling is with a PS or with a Switch Pro, then at that point, I think you'll be more susceptible to strapping something on your head and leaving it on for a longer period, because I believe that's going to be a 1080 screen. I don't believe for a second they want you keeping that 720 on your face for a long period of time.
It's interesting, though, isn't it? I mean, I think that like you say, like if they did change the screen resolution and had a way to strap it to your face, that it would allow more like proper VR experiences on Switch games. So then we might get a mode at that point, or on the next Zelda that's first person.
Let's be honest, Toby. I have multiple Joy-Cons, so I
Yeah.
could have used two Joy-Cons, two sets. Put one on the VR headset that would track the camera or whatever, and then the ones on my hands that actually use the sword and stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, I don't know. That's what's kind of cool to me.
That world, like the Breath of the Wild world,
gorgeous,
is huge, right?
Yeah.
But imagine how much bigger it would feel if you were in first person.
Well, yeah.
Like climbing a mountain and then looking down whilst you're climbing it.
I'd be having a heart attack. I'd be having a heart attack. I literally would have. I'd be having panic. Yeah, I'd be having panic attacks. Like it's bad enough now. Like now, I just climb up anything, and I'm like, whatever. But like, yeah. And then like, imagine what it would feel like when you do the paraglider in first person.
Oh, dude, I don't do heights.
That's what I'm saying. I'd be like
my sweaty feet, man.
my heart be up here in my throat, man. I'd feel like, what is happening? Yeah, man, it'd be awesome though. It would be pretty awesome. Yeah. All right, let's jump into our topics, and we're on the VR thing, so let's kind of stick with that. So I'll go with your topic first this week.
Okay, my topic is Sony is pushing PlayStation VR very hard with, they had their state of play showcase. I would say most of that was focused on VR games. Yeah. So do we think that Sony focusing so hard on VR is going to alienate some of its fan base?
Absolutely not. And I think if it does, I think those people are just idiots, to be honest with you. Because here's the thing. Them focusing on VR, it's a twofold process. One, they haven't focused on VR at all. And Sony does this thing where the minute they stop focusing and pushing something hard, it dies. To me, this is probably it's like last ditch effort with VR. Meaning like they did something very similar to this to Vita. But Vita never picked up and never took off. So they killed it, basically. They were just like, okay, we're done with it. So that's what Sony does. Sony doesn't have that commitment to long term where they'll just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing. But with this one, I think they have so much money invested in it, they kind of have to. And they got to stick around for a little bit. And I think they really, truly believe in the tech and everything. PSVR is starting to turn that corner in terms of a lot of the games being developed for PSVR are starting to hit. But the other thing is when I watched this state of play, I too felt like, man, this is all VR, and it doesn't do anything for me. But at the same time, what did people truly expect them to talk about? If they talked about Last of Us 2 and Death Stranding, then everybody would be like, oh my god, enough, we've heard enough about this. Days Gone, they showed, and people were saying that about Days Gone, like, oh my god, dude, the game comes out in a couple weeks, why are you showing it again? My thing is, they have nothing to talk about right now.
Yeah.
Because they're waiting on the PS5. Yeah. So I feel like that state of play, although I hate the name, I feel like it gets stronger when the PS5 gets announced. And I think this was kind of, like, I read people saying, like, it had no heart and all this stupid stuff. And that's just basically Nintendo fanboys attacking Sony. And listen, I attack any chance I get. Any opportunity I get to take a shot at Sony. Honestly, I think that they have the opportunity to really knock it out the park with the next few. Because I feel like this was just a test. This was for them to go like, okay, let's see what we can do. Let's test some things. Let's see what works, what doesn't work. And when they announced PS5, I got news for you. The first one that comes out and they show off everything, all the games, and they treat it like a true Nintendo Direct, you're going to see a different change of tune. And people are just going to be screaming like, oh my God, that was amazing. I feel like people that look at this and get hepped up on the whole, oh, it was just VR. I think you're using the opportunity to take a shot when there is no shot to take.
Do you feel the same way? Like when Nintendo was showing 3DS games still quite frequently, like the first year of the Switch, the Nintendo Direct still had a lot of 3DS content.
Yeah.
So when the 3DS content was being shown, did you find yourself switching off? You were bored?
I was bored.
So I get that same feeling with VR because I'm just not interested in that.
Yeah.
And it does, because I know that they're trying to cater to all of their audience.
Yeah.
And I've got to accept that VR is just a part of PlayStation now.
Yeah.
And that's going to be there. But I feel like, I don't know, like because about half the show was VR, I was just switched off for half of it.
And that's totally acceptable. You know what I mean? Like, I was the same way. I didn't care.
Yeah.
Like, when they first started showing the whole Tony Stark, the Iron Man thing, and I was like, oh my God, this is kind of cool. And then they were like, Iron Man VR. I was like, I care less now. You know what I mean? Like, when they showed a couple other games, I was just like, I don't care. Like, but I truly think that what else were they going to show? You know what I mean? Like, they have nothing to show. I think that's why they're not at E3. I think that's why they killed PSX this year. Yeah. It's because they have nothing to show. They're in that. It's the same idea of if we were to reverse back a couple, 3 years ago when it was the in-between moments of the Wii U is dying and the Switch hasn't been announced yet.
Yeah.
Those directs were piss poor.
They were dry.
And let me tell you what, and I don't care, I will challenge any Nintendo fan to show me something that was exciting during that time. You're lying to yourself.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that, like, when you watch a thing like the State of Play, it's just starting off. I really got annoyed because I read some of the comments and some of the people that I follow, and I was just like, guys, what are you doing? Like, yes, it's almost like they forget how bad the Wii U was. And it's like, Nintendo's not infallible, people. Just because they're on a very high upswing right now, calm down. Control your ego. Like, this is the one thing that I hate about gaming fans, as well as, like, the gaming industry. Like, Sony, the reason why Sony's getting so much hits right now is because of the arrogance from them. Meaning, they're 90 million units sold, and we don't need crossplay. You can play on the best, all that stuff. And that, to me, is what I hate about a company, is when they get like that. But what I really hate is the fans, when the fans get like that. And I feel like that's how some of, not all, but a small vocal minority of Nintendo fans are acting that way. And it's just like, guys, shut up. Because it can go the other way like that. And we've been on that side. We've been on that side where the Wii U was just trash. And no games were coming out. And we were bored to death. And, I mean, dude, really? Like, you and I were playing Mario Kart 8 with Karina and Tony the one time on PlayStation voice chat.
Yeah.
We're playing the Wii U with the PlayStations on, and we're talking in voice chat on the play. Like, Nintendo's not perfect. Like, just stop the nonsense sometimes. And it's like, you could be excited for things. I'm not telling you not to be excited for things, but don't kick other companies when they don't make the perfect moves. And for anybody that thinks that this is a flub by Sony and that this is Sony just, granted, I was not into it. Not at all. Same thing with the Xbox, the Indies showcase they did. I felt like, oh my God, this is terrible. But it's the first one they did. And like, I don't expect home runs all the time. You try something because they want to be a little different than what Nintendo's doing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Didn't work this time. So now they go back and they re-engineer it and they re-tinker it and they come back out. I just think that, but to answer, I mean, to wrap back around to your question, I don't think anybody should be alienated by this. I think you should honestly be excited by this. If I was a diehard Sony fan, I would be hyped for this because I would go, okay, first one wasn't for me, but you know what? I can't wait for the one that is for me because it's coming. And when that PS5 one comes, people are going to lose their minds. And you will not see Nintendo Direct trending on Twitter that day. I promise you.
Yeah. I just hope that they don't, they don't keep focusing on VR as much, because I feel like they're relying on VR now because the PlayStation 4 is winding down.
Yeah.
And they're trying to extend the life of it with VR. That's what it kind of feels like to me.
I think they're just trying to buy time, Toby. I think they're just trying to buy time.
Exactly.
Till the 5 gets in there. Listen, it's no different than, to go back to the Wii U. Like, it's no different during that time. And what did Nintendo do? They basically relied on the 3DS.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, it'd be interesting to see, though, like, if they continue to push VR as hard and whether they integrate that into their main showcases every single time, or whether they branch it off into its own video series. Because maybe if they said up front, this State of Play is completely VR focused, then I'll go, all right, I'll skip that one.
Yeah.
And then I won't be disappointed.
Well, think about it. Nintendo, and I do feel like that was a mistake on their part. But again, that's something that they learn from and they correct. Nintendo will announce prior to a show kicking off that, like, hey, this is what we're doing. Like, this is going to be the main focus. It's going to be a Fire Emblem one. Like, we're gonna show some other stuff, but we're gonna focus heavily on this type of thing. They typically tell us that because they want to temper expectations. They don't want you to be like, oh my God, we're getting like Devil's Fourth, you know? Only one person cares about that, Barry Dunn. But I mean, you try to keep people from thinking like, oh my God, we're getting the next Smash character getting announced, or oh my God, we're getting the next Mario Kart 9, or whatever it is. Like, you try to temper those expectations, essentially. And I think that's what the reasoning for giving a little prelude of what is to come is a smart move. And I think that's where PlayStation will learn, honestly. I don't view this as a misstep at all. I view this on the opposite. I view this as, man, as a Nintendo fan, of all the things to copy, this was the one that I was really truly hoping didn't come around, because I feel like when they do get it right and they do get it clicking, they're going to be pretty awesome with it. But if you think back to like what we were predicting, right? Because the last episode we did,
totally wrong.
We were totally wrong, but at the same time, like, did we really think that stuff was really going to happen?
Well, at the time I felt like because they'd been silent for so long, they needed to have something big for everyone to be talking about, but it didn't happen.
Well, right now you got to think VR is in a big uptick for them. VR is doing some pretty, like, it's pushing pretty hard for them right now. So it makes sense for them to try to ride that and see if they can get more sales out of it, get more people excited for that stuff. If of all times, I think right now PlayStation VR is finally making that turn where it's, the sales are really high coming off of Christmas. Like, a lot of people I know bought one for Christmas. So I think it's really in a position where it needs to be. So it makes sense that you want to promote it. You know what I mean? But again, it's not for me. And I don't think it'll ever be for me. And I don't think Nintendo Labo VR is for me. Like, do I want to try it? Yes, I tried PSVR too. I did try it. I did check it out. It's just not for me. Same thing with this. This is not for me. This is just something that I want to check out and have a good time with and play and see what happens. So we'll see how it all works out. Okay, so my topic this week is there was 3 rumors this week, 3 specific game release rumors. Persona 5, Metroid Prime Trilogy, and A Link to the Past. What were your thoughts when you heard these? Because you woke up to this stuff, right?
Yeah.
You didn't get it live that night.
I don't know. Like, I felt like it's kind of a strange combination of games. Because, Persona 5, massive RPG. Everyone wants that on Switch. There's been rumors of a port of it anyway. So that's like, especially with Joker coming to Smash and everything. So it's kind of like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. Metroid Prime Trilogy, again, that's something that's been rumored for a long time now, with Metroid Prime 4 being delayed. That makes sense as well. And then you have a retro game, Link to the Past, and that's the most confusing one to me, because the only reason it'd be on there is as a physical release. And they don't normally do that with old games like that, unless they're doing like a compilation or some sort of like SNES remix type thing. So, yeah, that one has me the most intrigued out of all three of them.
This is apparently it's a remaster of it, is what I'm understanding from what
in what way though? Like,
well, I mean, you think about it, like they were working on a remaster of it for the 3DS, which turned into Link Between Worlds. So, okay, so I'm in a little bit different position than you, and I want to kind of dissect things a little bit, because I haven't really talked about this too much. So that night when it all went down, I'm not going to name any names in any of this conversation because I'm not trying to get people in trouble, but I had things given to me that night, information supplied to me that night. As Wario64 is tweeting it, this information is coming to me, and I'm getting the information at the same time he's tweeting. And I'm like, what is happening? And the thing of it is the information I got was different than what he was tweeting. He was just tweeting rumors. I was getting photographs of SKUs and screenshots from Best Buy terminals. And I lost my mind when I saw this stuff coming across, because I'm like, this, again, not saying it's true, because you can fake that stuff. We've seen so wholeheartedly this stuff can be faked. But I saw it and I was just like, it seems real legit. Like, it seems very, very legit that this could be coming. So my understanding is, I mean, Persona's been very heavily rumored for the past couple of weeks. A couple of months, I would say, really. Ever since Joker got announced. It's been building momentum recently. On the 24th of April, Atlas is supposed to have a big announcement of sorts. And people feel like that's what this is. This is going to be them finally announcing that this is coming to Switch, along with the announcement that Joker is now in Smash. So that was the first one, and that makes sense to me. I get it. I understand it. I'm with you. Metroid Prime Trilogy has been rumored since the Game Awards. Yeah. That was when that fired up. People were like, where's it at? And it doesn't show up at the Game Awards. A friend of ours, Joey Ferris, was very vocal about that on the internet. He was very upset that it was not shown. But a lot of Metroid fans, like Joe After Work was another one, was very upset because the rumors and the leakers basically pointed to that date as this is where we get our information. Nothing happens. But my understanding is that's an HD remaster as well, or potentially.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
So, again, physical copy, gonna happen. That makes sense to me, honestly. Like, how do you appease the people you upset by announcing that Prime 4 is basically restarting? Well, you give them a Prime Trilogy in HD, and I think that would make people happy to go like, okay, I can go back, I can play these games.
That's a lot of game to get through between now and then. So
and I think it makes people excited, honestly.
And then love those games.
And then Link to the Past, and to me, Link to the Past makes sense in the terms of, we know for a fact that Nintendo was essentially remaking that game. Again, that game was being remade, and then Aonuma was like, we just decided we're not going to remake it. We're gonna basically put it out on the 3DS and make a new title. And that's what Link Between Worlds became.
Yeah.
That map from Link Between Worlds, it's pretty much identical to Link to the Past. There's a few tweaks here and there, but ultimately it's the same map. So for me, I look at it and I go, well, could they have just, when Link Between Worlds ended, they took that team, that 3DS team, and just said, okay, do Triforce Heroes. Triforce Heroes gets done, and they go, well, you still got the assets. Why not just do Link Between Worlds or Link to the Past?
Yeah, that would be worst case scenario, I think.
Well, I mean, why would that be worst case scenario?
Because I don't really like the way Link Between Worlds looks. It looks fine, but it's not exciting.
Well, it's also on a 3DS. It's also on a 240.
I just feel like the pixel art is so classic and so beautiful for A Link to the Past that if they just did HD Link Between Worlds art style, it would not be good enough. Like, there's no point. They need to drastically change it if they're going to do some sort of remaster. And have the option to switch.
To go back to the old style.
Yeah. Gotta have that.
mean, I wouldn't, let's be honest with you. We don't know what that art style, Link Between Worlds art style, we don't know what that looks like in HD. It could totally change. The lighting mechanics could totally flip your mind on that. We don't know. Or you see what they did between Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the art style they pushed.
Yeah, I hope not.
I mean, listen, to me, I don't care. Give me, like, anything. Like, I said it to you the one day. The guy, I think it's called Nintendo Faker, is his
the Instagram posts.
Yeah, and that guy, he basically did, like, the night when Link wakes up outside the house, you see raindrop, but it's like all hand painted and stuff. And I was like, oh, that would be the dream. That's the dream. But I don't think we get that. I don't know. To me, it doesn't matter. I don't care. I could care less. If you do something special with that game, you make that game just look good, I am in, man.
Yeah, because I don't know. I think I'm just nervous about it because it's my favorite Zelda of all time, and I don't want them to mess.
They're not going to mess up. Look, if that game comes out and they give us the ability to play the original, and whatever they concoct, I'm fine. I don't care. Okay. And even if they don't, even if they go, this is the only version of it you get to play, I don't care. It's A Link to the Past. I love that game. They can't mess that game up.
What they should do then, if they're going to do that, and they have the original version in there as well, I would just love for them to have a randomizer mode, a Nintendo-built randomizer mode, where you play through the game, and it's different every time.
So here you go. Now you're messing it up. Now you're messing it up.
That's an optional. It's like a second quest.
Now you're messing it up.
You have to know that game inside out, which a lot of people do, and it's a different experience.
You're messing it up now, Toby. You had the perfect concept, and now you're ruining it. Don't get into this. Don't drink your water, you piece of trash.
I'm not saying let's do Link to the Past Battle Royale.
No, but I'm saying, man, like, I don't want them to change the purity of that game. I just don't want them to go, okay, we're going to randomly generate and change the things, and I don't know.
I don't know. Have you watched a randomizer playthrough?
I don't watch that goofy. That's not the game. I don't want to play that game.
Oh man, it's so interesting because you need to know where the treasure chests are, how to access them with the specific items that you get. If you get the hook shot up front, you've got to think, all right, where can I go in the world with just the hook shot? That's so interesting.
Not really. Not really, Toby. It's not interesting at all.
If just offer it as a mode.
We don't need that in our lives. We don't need that.
Just because you're afraid, Bobby.
No, you go live.
You wouldn't be any good at it.
You go live in your rip-off modern.
You know what I was thinking
world.
as well, right? What if I can't believe no one's done this before, but like just a straight up palette swap of A Link to the Past. Set it make the whole world snowy. Just have a winter Link to the Past, like stuff like that. Just the exact same graphics.
Exactly what you just complained about, you're doing.
I'm just saying options.
No,
give me modes. Give me extra things. I'm not saying
exactly what you just complained about, the
No,
purity
Bobby.
and destroying the purity of the game.
I'm saying they need to keep the purity, give us the vanilla experience,
No. My God, why am I
and
talking
have
to you about
extra
this?
options.
No, all we need is that game, gorgeous graphics, game over, done.
The pixel art is gorgeous graphics.
Just stop it. Just
when I was watching this randomizer playthrough, I just keep like drooling at how good the pixel art is in that game.
Why are we talking about randomizers? We're done with randomizers.
I'm just saying, the game is absolutely glorious. I love it. It's my favorite game ever.
HD version, I'm all for. Could you imagine? So could you imagine if they were like, "Hey, here's Link to the Past, the way it is, all its glory. That's it. There is no HD remaster, but here's Dungeon Builder with it, and you can actually."
Now you're talking, Bobby. Now you're talking.
Oh, Toby just shot a load in his pants.
Pass the tissues, Bobby.
Okay. Okay. So
you got a stack of them.
Okay, here we go. Let's just move on now, shall we? We're gonna come with some questions from out of the warp pipe, and first question we have is: will we see F-Zero on the Nintendo Switch?
Yes.
You really believe that?
I think eventually, yes.
I think we'll get old versions of F-Zero. I don't think we get a new version of F-Zero.
Possibly. They might just remaster one of the old ones.
I just don't see it. I don't see that game ever sees the light of day.
I love the way, we talked about this before, the way that they added an F-Zero track to Mario Kart and how cool that was.
But it was cool because it was Mario Kart on an F-Zero track.
So you're saying that F-Zero is not any fun? Like, you don't like F-Zero?
I don't like F-Zero at all. I think it's one of the worst racers ever. It's so bad. The controls are garbage.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Like, I know that probably upset 90% of the UK with that comment, but it's true,
man. It's got its fan base.
When the people that I talk to, right?
Yeah.
Like anybody that ever says, "Oh, I love F-Zero," they're normally British.
Okay.
I don't know any Americans
I
ever
hear
go.
Americans talk about it.
Who?
Like Game Explain?
They're not Americans. They're just. Don't get me started, them idiots. Those guys. Does Easy Allies like it?
I think one of them does. Yeah.
One out of like 6 or 7.
Out of 9.
Yeah, get out of here. Okay, next question is, how many games do you have on your Switch, and what size SD card do you have? So before the show, Toby and I actually went back and we actually counted how many games we had. I know that I have you buried. I have you buried, but that's...
I think you have at least double the amount of games that I have.
Okay.
At least.
Okay.
I have 32 games.
I have...
Is it over 100? Is it 3 digits, Bobby?
I have 209 games.
What?
Yes.
Oh
209 Switch games. I was floored. I'm counting, and I'm like, this number's just getting higher and higher and higher. And then
your friend Miguel probably has you beat, though, right?
Miguel, my friend. You're not friends with Miguel now all of a sudden? Like,
no, I am, but like...
Oh, okay. Your friend Miguel. Miguel, if you're watching this, he doesn't like you no more, Miguel. And Miguel loves you. That's the sad thing.
Dude, I love Miguel.
Every time that I see Miguel, he'll say, "How's Toby doing?" Every single time I see him.
You,
but the thing is you've just proven that you don't like him at all. That you hate
I love Miguel.
You hate Miguel.
Look, I'm not going to go my friend Miguel because he's your friend as well.
You could have been like our friend Miguel. But no, you said your friend.
The podcast has turned into the Miguel podcast.
Well, you just totally shot him in the face. And it wasn't with something sweet and gooey. Like, so... You're
bringing it back round to the tissues, man. This ain't good.
Okay. Yes. Miguel, here's where... I probably have more games than Miguel, but the crazy thing about Miguel is Miguel has 200 and something physical games.
Mm-hmm.
Like every game he has is a physical copy. So if you follow and if you're interested, it's Super Night Arm on Twitter. Follow him. He actually posts pictures every now and again of his collection. Like he'll get like 10, 15 games and put it up. I'm going to do a video of his collection because I think it's impressive. He's got so much stuff. Like the thing about Miguel is he will research when something's coming out. He'll research where he can get the better physical copy version, and he'll import it. Like I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Bayonetta 1 and 2 in the United States was physical copy for Bayonetta 2, digital for 1. That wasn't good enough for him. He imported
it was like that in the UK.
Imported it from Germany, where they had both versions on disc or on cartridge. He'll import from Japan. Like he's nuts. He's nuts. But I love it. I love to see like he's just really into it. And it started out as he just wanted to get the first 100 games.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're gonna go beyond that. No. And then now he's at 200, and he's like,
dude.
I don't know whether I can just keep going for 300 or it's not. At one point, he had every single game. At one point, he had every single physical game that Nintendo put out. And I was like, but then it just started to get away. You know, it starts to take off.
Yeah, I applaud anyone that supports physical like that, because physical media is dying, dude. And
big time.
I think that's bad. I think we need to cling on to it.
The state of Stadia is killing digital or physical. We never even talked about that. I'm curious what you think about that. Okay, final question.
Hang on, SD card.
Oh, I've got
SD card. 32 gigabyte SD card.
You got a 32 gig? That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, what a loser.
I've got 25 games installed at the moment.
I've got 400 gig. I don't play no games, Toby. I'm coming out swinging for the fences.
Bobby Big Bucks with his 400 gig.
Well, you know what the crazy thing? Yeah, I'm so annoyed though, because when that thing first came out, I paid $180 for it.
Yeah.
And then now you can pick them up for $60 on Amazon, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. So now the 1 terabyte SD card is $400 on Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm not buying this time. I'm waiting for it to get down to $60. Like, it hits $60, I'm buying it day one.
Yeah.
Because that'll be tremendous.
I do need to upgrade. I will get a 64 gig one soon, but maybe bigger. I don't know.
Go 128 at least. You can pick them up for nothing right now, Toby.
It depends on, because there's some games coming out like Resident Evil 4. If I get that, I reckon that's probably going to be bigger than it needs to be. And like just a few third-party games probably take up most of 32 gig.
The truth of the matter is, Toby, is you can pick up an SD card for so cheap right now, it's not even funny. You should really just grab one. I might even have a 128 here I would send you.
Yeah.
You know, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Okay, so final question. What are your thoughts on April Fool's jokes? So April Fool's what? It just passed.
In the gaming community, specifically, I really like it. All right, it depends though. Caveat. If it's someone that is having fun with it, and it's very clearly just a silly April Fool's thing, then I'm totally into that.
Like if it's someone like IGN this year.
Yeah, like IGN's Nintendo Direct. Like that was so funny and so spot on. Yeah. Like they nailed that. Just the presenter, the way it was edited, the clicks, and then the humor, and it got more and more ridiculous. That was brilliant.
Yeah.
And there are a few other things that I saw that were pretty cool. There was like there was like some game that was like a Switch game case. Oh, that was it. Rare Replay with GoldenEye and stuff. Like I like stuff like that. But when it's like they're somebody creates like a fake thing that looks really real, like a fake Smash character leak or something, and they try and fool people with it. Like, I'm not as into that.
Well, here's the thing. The one that you just mentioned, the GoldenEye one, the Rare Replay one.
Yeah.
I didn't like that one because I thought that was BS. Because the reason why that pissed me off so much, they put it out before.
Did they?
April Fools. Yes.
Oh, I only saw.
And when you read the article, at the very end of the article, they made it like this is coming out. This is announced. Right. Here it goes. Okay. And at the very end of the article, when they put the release date, they put April 1st. And it was like, no. That's not how April Fool's is. You don't get that. You don't get that out of, because I say that the release date's April Fool's Day, I can say anything. Because I can say stuff now and go like, the release date's April Fool's Day next year or April 1st next year. Like, no, that's BS. Yeah. You don't play with people's emotions like that. I feel like April Fool's Day is April Fool's Day. That's the day you do this. Mm-hmm. And there's a way to do it right and there's a way to not do it right. And I'm not, what I just don't, I feel like everybody does it now. It used to be like one or two outlets would do it. But I feel like YouTubers do it now, and Twitter accounts do it now, and everybody's trying to get.
It can be a bit overwhelming.
So for me, it's annoying because it's one of those days where I just don't go on the internet because I just don't want to be fooled. I don't want to be like, oh my god, this is coming. Like, oh, you got to be kidding me, dude.
Yeah, and on that day, you've just got to remember that everything you look at is probably not real.
Yeah, because and the other thing too is some of the stuff, like something like a Rare Replay, I feel like that's just a cheap shot because there's a very strong possibility it comes because of the relationship between Microsoft and Nintendo now. And I feel like it's just a cheap way. But like something like what IGN does, that to me, I love something like that because I look at it like, hey man, you took your time, you busted your ass, you built this thing from the ground up. This was weeks of working on to get it to work. Yeah. This wasn't something they just did that morning. Like this was weeks and weeks and weeks of building and getting it there. I admire that because they took time and they worked on it. Mm-hmm. Something where a guy just writes an article days before and then goes, oh yeah, the release date for this game is April 1st. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no. Like, go after yourself, man. Like, seriously. Anyway, that's my feeling on it. I don't mind. Ultimately, though, I don't mind it. I just, as the past few years have come around, I just disconnect from it because it's like, I know that everything that's coming out is fake.
Yeah, as well, it is annoying that it feels like no company can say anything on that day. Yeah. Whether it's a real article or real news thing, because nobody can take it seriously.
Yeah, nobody will believe it. Wasn't it a couple years ago Nintendo did a Nintendo Direct on April 1st? And people were like, is this legitimate? Like, is this really going to be...
Yeah.
Like, is this... And then they were just like... I saw some people saying, like, could you imagine if the entire Direct at the very end, Nintendo was like, oh, April Fools. Like, that would
all these announcements, they're not real.
that would get me so mad. So that is all. Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Nintendo PlayStation Podcast. Be sure to check out everything that Toby does over on the interwebs at Toby's_take. Also, check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Nintendo Gurus. That is all. Peace out, Preston.
Enjoy yourself and play some video games.
favor? Can you talk a little bit? Hold on. I got to change your settings where we're going with this real quick. Because I got to go to my headset. Okay, try it again.
What do you want me to talk about, Bobby? Should I talk about how handsome I am?
Well, that, if you want to lie to yourself and to the people, then you go right ahead.
The people know, Bobby.
Yeah, okay. You keep telling yourself that. All right, I just want to test this footage and see what it looks like.
All right.
Okay, we'll just let this record a little bit and see what happens. But oh, there we go. That's the stuff right there. That's the stuff. I wish my FaceTime. I'm gonna have to buy another camera because I don't like the fact of the way you see me. I like you to see me in all my glory, and I feel like you see a lesser version of me.
I see like a 16-bit version of you.
Yeah, and that's not very.
Which honestly, I think I prefer it that way.
You son of.
Because in like HD, you see all your imperfections.
There are no imperfections, Toby. What the hell's wrong with you, man?
If you say so.
Really? Is that the way it's going to be today? Okay.
I can't believe you're still wearing your Pizza Hut delivery hat. I mean, come on.
This is not a Pizza Hut delivery hat.
You look like a pizza delivery driver. Get on your moped. Come on, Bobby.
You're a real piece of trash, you know that? All right.
You tell me that enough times, so you think I would know.
You would know it by now. You would just be ingrained in your head. All right. Here we go. Where are we at? Are you ready? I'm just assuming you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're such an ass. All right, so we're just season 3, episode 4.
We're not doing what we're playing, right?
We could do that for the second episode.
No, don't worry about it.
Because
I'm gonna roll what I'm playing into my Geek Out. So.
You know what? I don't even have a Geek Out.
Bobby,
Ooh.
come on.
Ooh, I know. What the hell? Hold on. Give me a minute. Let me think about this. Let me think about this.
I know. Oh well. I was gonna say there is something you could be geeking out about,
but I don't want to talk about it because it's not. The one thing I'm geeking about, I can't really talk about because of the thing. Okay, I got you. I'm ready.
All right.
I got the first one. I'll think of a second one.
Okay.
All right, here we go. What is up, everybody, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 14 of the Nintendo PlayStation Podcast.